great performance, great result. It's a shame we can't have the replay at the Manor. Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. It's time for another review of another Oxford United game. Today the Yellows travelled all the way up to Newcastle in FA Cup round 4. So a great occasion for Oxford to play a Premier League side, and they make two changes from the side that drew 1-1 with Gillingham. Rather surprisingly, John Massinho dropped out of the side for Elliot Moore. That makes me a little uneasy. I always think the defence looks better when it is Dickie and Massinho. And Marcus Brown came in for Nathan Holland. It was good to see a couple of returning players. It's good to see Jamie Hansen coming back on the bench. He may have been on the bench a couple of games, but I definitely noticed it for this one. And also good to see George Thorne on the bench as well. He's an excellent player. We haven't really seen the best of him. It's really good that we've actually signed him now, at least till the end of the season. Hopefully he'll get fit again, get some game time, because the very few minutes we have seen of him, he's been impressive, and I think he could be a really good addition to us in the second half of this season. Both sides have had injury problems, but probably no side in the whole of England, well maybe Bournemouth, has had worse luck with injuries than Newcastle, including losing 4 players in a game against Leicester City. Generally been pretty solid under Steve Bruce's season, considering most people wanted him out the door before he's even come in. He's done a pretty good job. They've had 2 really good backs to the wall results, getting a 1-0 win against Chelsea and coming from nowhere to get a 2-2 draw against Everton. Bruce did say he would name a strong side, and if you look at that side, he has named a very good side indeed. Certainly up front, when you look at that front 3, with all the pace they have, with St Maximan, Joel Linton and Almiron, that's where Oxford were really going to be in danger this afternoon. So as I said, it's a really good, almost free hit, if you like, for Oxford this afternoon. It's the first time we've ever used VAR in a game, as far as I'm concerned. That's going to be interesting to see. It'll be really interesting to see. It's almost worthwhile one going against Oxford just to see the look on Robinson's face, just to see how he might explode on the sideline. If you look at our League One predictions, I did back Oxford to win 3-1. A lot of bravado in that one. I do think this one's going to be a close game. These sides don't really score a lot of goals. Oxford have travelled up to the North East this season as well. Got a 1-1 draw against Sunderland, and that has absolutely nothing to do with this game. I don't know why I put it in, but, you know, that maybe gives me some little piece of hope that we might get something out of this match. Wow. What can I say? Cups. We've been really good in the Cups this season. We've had a good season, to be fair, but this is another fantastic result in the Cup this afternoon. No goals, I'm afraid. It did finish Newcastle 0, Oxford United 0. But from an Oxford United point, that is incredible. I'm sure if you watch any Newcastle reviewer of this game, they're going to really destroy their side and say they weren't very good. But this is a great result for Oxford, make no mistake. As you could say, getting a replay against a Premier League side is always really good. And I thought Oxford actually started the game pretty well before Newcastle came into it, and had a sort of the first 20 minutes, they certainly dominated possession, certainly looked more dangerous from set pieces than they did from open play. And Lascelles really should have scored after about 10 minutes or so. But after that period, Oxford did grow into the game, and it reminded me a little bit of the Man City match, really, where obviously from Newcastle's view, not as good a quality, in terms of Newcastle dominating the game early, but then Oxford really growing into it and really starting to the belief started to grow into the players. They really got a foothold in the game and they started passing the ball around and they looked a lot more dangerous themselves. So as I said, it was really set pieces and long range shooting that really Newcastle had their best chances. Oxford did a good job of keeping them at arm's length, which has been a feature of their play this season. Very good at pressing as a team and also closing people down. Karl Robinson certainly sets the team up well in that regard. St Maximan did make Eastwood make a save after 39 minutes, but it was a good shot, but a pretty easy save for Eastwood you would expect him to make. And it did go in at half-time 0-0. From Newcastle point of view, it would be lacklustre. From an Oxford point of view, very encouraging. A couple of things about the first half. I thought when Oxford did get into the game, I just felt Brown was a little bit wasteful. I mean, Mackie obviously struggled to get anything, as he always does. I'm really bagging on him lately, I know. But Brown had a couple of really good opportunities, and it's just his decision-making wasn't quite right. And there was a couple of opportunities Oxford he really could have done better with that slid by. So as the second half started, Newcastle were on the front foot. They came out with a head of steam. I don't know whether Bruce put a rocket up them, but they certainly started having a lot more pressure in around Oxford's area. But a lot of the chances came from set pieces again. However, the pressure was growing. But I must say I thought Oxford had scored on the 63rd minute, and I was actually off my seat, jumping around for about a split second anyway, because Marcus Brown, I criticised him for being quite wasteful, but this was a really good attempt, edge of the box, curled it just wide. I really thought it was going to go in, but it did go just wide. And it was Brown again with Oxford's best chance on the 70th minute, where we were actually able to break. Goran got the ball forward, he laid it into Brown, but the ball into Brown was horrible, and he did really well to kind of manoeuvre it to get his shooting chance, but by the time he got there, he was slightly off balance, players got back around him, and it was a tame finish. Newcastle did look dangerous at periods as well. Oxford were a little bit lucky where a blocked clearance was deflected straight into the path of Joel Linton, who tucked it away, but he was ruled offside, and quite rightly he was offside as well. But then there was a good chance for Almiron a few minutes later. Again, a header down in the box. He was about 7 or 8 yards out, back to goal. He just flicked it over the bar. Almiron was a real threat in the second half with his running. Wherever he got space, Oxford were relegated to just really cynically fouling him, almost like dragging him down by the collar or rugby tackling him just to stop. And so they racked up a couple of yellow cards on that regard. But it was worth it. It was worth it. Getting into the late stages of the game, more and more nervous, the more and more it went on, Oxford could have got a replay, the more you got scared that it might get taken away from them. But wasn't really the case. There was pressure without really being the volume of chances. Joel Linton had a shot late on in the game, which was relatively easy for Eastwood to save. It was just a case of whether he would spill it, which of course he didn't, because Eastwood's great. And late on, Oxford had a chance as well. Nathan Holland, who came on late in the second half, he had a really good run, took it on, advanced like 20 yards maybe with the ball, and then had a shot from outside the area, which forced Darlow in probably his most difficult save of the afternoon. Well, not probably, his most difficult save of the afternoon, where he palmed it round for a corner. And that was pretty much it. Couple of late corners for either side, but nothing doing, and that Oxford got through. 0-0 draw against Newcastle. Replay at the Kassam Stadium. I don't want to hear anybody saying, "Oh, could do without the replay." No, that's the wrong attitude to have. A replay is fantastic. It could be on television. It's going to be a full house. What a great result for Oxford. So again, Karl Robinson deserves great credit for how he sets Oxford up this season. We're very, very hard to beat. We don't concede many goals. And again, the defence has to take so much credit. Not just the defence, the whole team takes credit for the way they defend. But I have to say, Dickie, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He dealt with everything so well. There's a couple of times he was stretched, but he managed to get back and get his head on the ball, get a block on the ball. And what an improvement he's made from last year. He was a good defender last year, but he had a mistake in him. You're always waiting for him to fall over the ball or play a poor pass. He's cut that out so much. He's so solid and so reliable. But no one needs to know that, because Oxford need to keep him. So a replay at the Kassam Stadium, and that brings a lot of promise to Oxford. You know, we might have some more players back. Certainly we missed Taylor today as a goal threat. Of course we did. And Henry as well. So our two main players in terms of goals were out of this game. Hopefully they might be back for a replay. And God forbid we might have another striker in by then. Who knows? Who knows? As you can tell, I am really pleased with that result. Enjoy it, Oxford fans. Another fantastic cup performance against a Premier League side. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, please hit that like button. And also hit the subscribe button if you like the content on the channel. And make sure if you do subscribe that you hit that notify bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. I will be back very soon for another Oxford review. And remember, if you're looking for detailed football analysis, you're probably in the wrong place.
League One Oxford have taken Premier League side Newcastle to a replay. Excruciating, boring, and not worth watching. That's what some people will be describing this match as. Is yet again, Oxford not only have failed to score, but they've managed to invent enough chances to score. Weak, pathetic, morbid, and a death sentence. That's what it's like going to the Kassam. Not because you're going to lose, but because for at least 2 hours your life is going to be taken from you. Feel bad for this Newcastle side as they're stuck driving for 5 hours just to spend 2 hours in the Kassam.